the Atari 5200 Super Podcast.
Hello everyone! Today we're going to look at a piece of homebrew hardware for the Atari 5200. What I'm talking about is a Masterplay clone joystick adapter, which allows you to use like an Atari 2600 joystick or Atari, any kind of Atari joystick on this little bad boy. Also a Sega Genesis gamepad. So when you use a Sega Genesis gamepad on this, you have two button controls. You have B and C. Just like the 5200 had two action buttons. I find that's the best way to use this, is use a Sega Genesis D-pad on it. Now what's really neat about this, it's got the keypad on top. That's awesome. We have two adjustment knobs here for vertical and horizontal adjustment. This is so you can get your controller that you're using, like the Sega Genesis D-pad, to be centered up. The Atari 5200 had an analog joystick, as a lot of you know. And it didn't self-center, so if you plug in a regular joystick in this and don't adjust it, your character can run off to one side of the screen or up and down on its own. So you turn these knobs to get your character to stay still on the screen, which zeroes up the gamepad that you're using, or the Atari joystick. Per the documentation, it recommended the 9 o'clock position for both knobs, and that seems to work right there, but you do have a little bit of fine adjustment in case you find you have to do just a little tiny tweaking to get your character to stay still. Other than that, this thing works awesome. I'm very impressed with it. Now, this is basically a clone of what was put out back when the 5200 was in its prime. Masterplay made adapters to use joysticks and stuff, other joysticks on the 5200. And those are kind of hard to come by. They're really rare. And a lot of times they're pretty expensive. This is fairly expensive too, but it's definitely worth it. I've been very impressed with it. So let's hook this thing up and we'll go through the paces of showing how the knobs work on it. Alright, I want to use a little test cartridge here that shows, here's the analog stick hooked up, shows how the control works. So basically wherever you move this around to, the little dot will move to, like so. Then here's my action button here, which changes over to another diagnostic screen, the lower button. So now let's plug in the Masterplay clone, and we'll plug in a Sega Genesis D-pad. We'll plug in the Masterplay clone here. And then we'll plug in a Sega Genesis gamepad into it. Now, with the Masterplay controller plugged in, adapter, you can see if I turn the knobs, how you can affect the centering of the joystick. So once I got it centered up, and then I use my Sega Genesis D-pad here, you'll see the dot jump around. There we go. Now it's best to use it on an actual game so you can see if your character is not moving anymore. I just did this on this diagnostic screen here so you actually see what's occurring. And then of course with the Masterplay plugged in, if I hit the B button here, that's like the lower fire button on the 5200 controller. The C button is the upper fire button. And here on this screen, I can see my keypad inputs. See them changing around. Pretty awesome. So if you'd like to get a hold of one of these, go onto eBay and look up the user Atari Guy 1021. Now let's give it a try on the actual game itself. We'll try Moon Patrol with it. Alright, I've got Moon Patrol fired up, so we'll hit the start button, which is A on that keypad. Oh, cool. Whoa! Works really well. Oh, hey, yeah, I'm not too good at this. So anyway, that's the Masterplay clone adapter made by Atari Guy 1021. Highly recommended piece of hardware for your Atari 5200 system. Thanks for watching. Go, 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 go. Oh, darn it.